This review covers the 1970 Chevelle SS454. It's a 124 scale kit from Revell, number 2715. Now, the 1970 Chevelle SS454 was near the top of the finest examples of the muscle car era. A quarter-mile sprint only took 13.7 seconds, and it had an average top speed of 162 miles an hour. Now, about 4,500 of the LS6 Chevelles were sold, and the base price was around $4,000 in 1970. And to prove its enduring rare value, the 454 SS LS6 is now averaging over $100,000 if you want to buy one. It was only offered for 1 year and rated at 450 horsepower, but it actually had closer to 500. This kit is based on the Monogram 1980 issue, and it's been re-released a number of times. You can build it 3 ways: stock, street machine, or drag, which we chose to do in drag race version. It contains 105 parts molded in white, clear, and chrome, and the tires are solid vinyl with good tread detail, but no sidewall branding. You also get a nice set of decals with it. Now, when you're done, it comes in at about 8¼ inches long, 3¼ inches wide, and 2¼ inches high. Here are the decals for the kit. As you can see, the heavy Chevy emblem there is what made the kit famous. But it also comes with stock SS stripes and a colorful hood stripe for that drag or custom version, along with a number of sponsor decals. So you can use any of these for the various configurations you might want to build. Here are the parts for the kit. You can see it's molded in white color. The chrome is nice. It's not too toy-like. It's not too thick. And the windows are a little bit thick, but they're very clear. Now, remember, this mold was designed in the 80s, so you're going to get the prerequisite parting lines and, ejector pin marks. There's very little flash, however, so that's a plus. It's in pretty good shape, but you'll still need to do a little work. Things that I seem to find were missing in this kit was that if you build the drag version, you need to do a little bit to enhance that. You see here in the lower white parts the standard exhaust. Well, I replaced those with a pair of headers that I found in my parts box. Here are the parts for the engine, so get those out. As you can see, you got some chrome pieces that will go together there, and it goes together very nicely. By the way, if you need to get a more clear definition of actual construction, the instructions for this are with the rest of the kit are in the back of the review. But we've got just a few flat black pieces painted here, and we'll assemble the motor. Now here's a look at the assembled engine. You see that great big bug catcher up on top of that huge blower for this massive 454 V8. It's a really nice looking and detailed engine, for 1980. So don't be afraid to put this one together and show it off. Gather up the wheels and tires, and speaking of massive, look at the size of those rear slicks. There's a great looking set of centerline wheels that go in here, and the tires go together, just like a sandwich. You got your inners and outers, and don't forget to scuff the tread area, so to speak, to give it an authentic look. For even more realism, I painted the center lines aluminum because they actually did not come in a chrome finish back then. Now we'll work on the lower end here, and note that the chassis frame combination there has been painted flat black, and the front suspension piece, a one-piece unit, as well. And we're going to install that later, but first put the engine in place by locating the motor mounts and making sure that you get this set into the motor mounts properly, as well as the back end, the transmission center post there, and make sure that it's perpendicular so that it lines up with the hood scoop. Another change that you're going to want to make for the drag version is to cut off the stock exhaust pipes. they wouldn't be used on a full drag race version. So you see here the rear end pieces, the top and bottom side of the pumpkin and axle, and then get those painted appropriately, and we'll move on to the bottom of that chassis. And throughout the build, please remember that glue sticks better to raw plastic than paint or chrome, so scrape that off for parts you want to join together. Now note that we've also did a little detailing with the fuel tank there. It's a steel fuel tank with some black straps. Now the rear end has been assembled, the two halves of that, and it includes the drive shaft here. So also we're going to add the shackles for the rear end to get a little height for those big slicks. Now the front wheels can be glued into place, and we'll put these parts into position as well. They go right into the slots made for them, and they fit very nicely. We'll work on the body, and it's got pretty good proportions. You're going to find some parting lines here that kind of outlined in red, and note that they're pretty light, but they're there. If you just follow this red line around from all the way from the tip of the front to the back, you'll find a little bit of parting line, various degrees. It's not very bad, but you'll want to kind of smooth that out for a nice finish. Check it over for any kind of sinks or blemishes you want to fill, and then give it a light scuffing and a coat of primer. Now we need to take a look at the hood. This is the racing hood, and you see the center support brace for shipping there. You'll need to remove that and clean off the sprue attachment points. Okay, things are coming together pretty quickly here, and as you can see, after the primer had dried, I gave my car a coat of, actually it's called One Shot brand, yellow, and also note that we've painted the inside there for the roof liner and the sides, etc., that you can see, as well as the engine bay, with some flat black. The windows have been placed into position with some clear glue, and the rear view mirror as well. Now we're going to set that to dry, and you'll also notice that I painted a stripe along the rockers, the lower portions there, to kind of help support the colors of that really vibrant hood scoop stripe that goes on the hood. So that's an optional item too, but I elected to use it as my banner for the sponsor decals as well. Here's the addition that I made to the roll bar. The center hoop there is all that's provided in the kit, but that's not realistic. They always have bracing, so I added a couple of braces from some other roll cages, and you'll see those in just a minute. But first we're going to show you some of the detailing that this interior pieces make for actually a good palette for that kind of detailing. And you see some extensive use of the silver chrome pen here, including on the brackets for the fire extinguisher, which of course is a requirement for most drag racers. Also around the steering wheel, the stalks on the column, and the dash, of course, all chrome pen appointments. Now there were no gauge decals, so I just found some pictures of those gauges on the internet, cut them out, and put them in place. The interior painted with a medium gloss black. Of course the floor is flat black, but also those chrome appointments continue to be evident in this trim level. Even the gas pedal had some chrome ribs on it, but here you also see that roll bar with the extended braces. And here's that sweet looking interior with all the chrome trim and the modified roll bar. Now note the back seat is still there. It's molded into the kit, so it would be quite a bit of work to remove that, which would probably not be seen in a full drag car. Now we can paint the fan shroud and the radiator support a semi-gloss black. And here you see the core support there, along with the fan shroud in place in front of the motor. of the engine, and also a red arrow that is pointing at the upper radiator hose. Now, that hose belongs in all three versions of the kit, even though it's only shown in the stock version. And now we'll work on the front end. You see the headlight bezels and lenses, along with the grille and bumper. Now, those are attached together. And note that I've painted the areas around the grille openings body color. Of course, they're chromed, so you'll have to do that if you want a more authentic look that actually matches the real car. Now, they're added into position with some glue, but scrape that chrome off before you do that. And one more note, on the standard stock version of the car, it did have orange turn signals, but on the SS those were clear. So I used a little mix of white and silver to just paint those for a more authentic look. And so with the brake booster in place there and the battery, we've completed the engine bay, and you can show that off with the hood off or put it into position because your engine bay is finished. Here's what she looks like with that hood in place, nestled around that huge blower. And we've also got a pretty nice look. The hood fits nicely, and with those hood pins pointed out in chrome, she has a nice finished look to her. Use just a little bit of glue on the edges and go ahead and install the lower valence there, of course painted body color. Okay, we got basically the last piece that goes into position here. You've got a chrome rear bumper, so scrape the chrome off and get that ready to glue in place. Also note there's some flat black inserts on the center right and left portions. And the tail lights are painted stoplight red with a little touch of white for the backup lights. Here are the parts and decals that I had left over. You see a full set of bigs and littles there, some side pipes, some of the stock stripes and hood, along with the engine parts, and two more complete sets of outer wheel choices for your parts stash. Well, there you have it. This car looks stunning in the Daytona yellow livery that was available that year, and also with the nice hood stripe and the added lower body stripe with the sponsor decal area and a pinstripe in the middle. Now, I didn't have any issues building this kit. It went together very well. It's just the normal parting lines, a few ejector pin marks you may want to fill in. There's also a script on the chassis you might want to remove. And you'll have a lot of extra pieces at the end for the next review. But this is definitely your heavy Chevy, and if I were you, I'd buy one and put it on my shelf.
Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet.
This review is brought to you in part by Ryder's Hobby Shops, where the fun begins. Stop in to one of Ryder's two convenient Michigan locations, where you'll find a full range of the latest hobby products, supplies, parts, tools, and paint. You'll find aisles and aisles of scale model kits, RC models, model rockets, Warhammer gaming, and railroading products. Stop in at Ryder's today and tell them Doug sent you.